Firstly, I will thank to the organizers for the kind invitation to attend this event. I am Laura Capdevila from Seover Life, one of the partners of this LIFE project, Coop Cortaderia. And in my speech, I will talk about the volunteers' activities that we carry out in this LIFE project. To provide some context, I introduced the project. Our target species is Cortaderia seyoana. Cortaderia seyoana, pampas grass, is probably the best known invasive plant in the Atlantic arc. It is native to South America, and it was introduced into Europe as an ornamental plant. Pampas grass displays a strong invasive character as observed in diverse locations, such as North America, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and also in Europe. And in Europe, it is present as an invasive species in Atlantic arc countries, for example, France, Spain, and Portugal, and also in Mediterranean countries, such as Italy, and in Central European countries, such as Czech Republic, for example. Pampas grass has the ability to modify the habitat by forming dense stands that compete effectively with native flora. It is a transforming species. Form monospecific masses that almost completely exclude other vegetation. Another pictures. And also, it is a pyrophytic plant that promotes the spread of fires and benefiting from them by quickly colonizing the land after a fire. It is a pioneer species. And also has an impact on health, as it is an allergenic species that causes a second peak in allergies in autumn. This is very important. Pampa grass reproduced by seeds, which can be carried out by the wind for miles, for kilometers. Therefore, to stop its spread, it is crucial to remove not only large areas like this one of pampa grass, but also isolated specimens or small groups that are sometimes hidden. The LIFE Coop Cortaderia project unites 11 partners from Spain, Portugal, and France with one goal: to stop the spread of pampa grass in the Atlantic arc, to clear at least 1,000 hectares of land invaded by this species, and restore the affected ecosystems. However, this goes far beyond simply eliminating an invasive plant. Our goal is to mobilize everyone involved: administrations, companies, associations, enterprise, citizens, to stop the spread of Cortaderia and recover the ecosystems. Why? Because no one can solve this problem alone. No one. It's a collective challenge. And this is where volunteering becomes essential. Environmental volunteering is more than just work. It's direct action, education, and participation, and this is what makes it show value. For us, volunteers are more than just helping hands. They are committed people, eager to learn, participate, and play an active role in finding solutions. Our goal is to train them, involve them, and give them a voice. When we design our volunteer activities, we take great care. We focus on the ultimate goal: conserving and restoring habitats degraded by the presence of this invasive plant, not only eradicating the invasive plant. We make two groups of voluntary activities. One of the main groups is recovered environments invaded by this plant, with eradication and restoration of the habitat. And the other group is prevention of the spread of the pampas grass by cutting inflorescence and detection of Cortaderia specimens. For example, some habitats are not targeted by our LIFE project, but they are invaded by Cortaderia, urban environments and peri-urban environments, for example. The presence of Cortaderia in these areas threatens nearby natural ecosystems. In our reforestation project, volunteers first learn to identify the pampas grass and how to effectively remove it. And then they plant native trees and shrubs, restoring the ecosystem. The result? They learn real-world ecological restoration techniques, and they see the before and after of the landscape with their own eyes, which is highly motivating for them. In other types of activities, for example, we create amphibian ponds in urban areas with small areas invaded by pampas grass. Again, we collectively remove all the pampas grass specimens and build the pond in the area that was invaded by the species. The result? Again, volunteers learn to recognize the species and avoid planting it in private gardens. They learn how to properly remove them, and finally, they build a small wetland, helping to renaturalize the city. Again, they see the before and after of the landscape with their own eyes, which is highly motivating. And this is not pampa grass. Another type of activities is activities about prevention of pampas grass spread. Cortaderia, pampas grass spread can be prevented by cutting the inflorescences. We carry out this action at a very specific time, the end of summer. By this time, Cortaderia has already flowered, but has not yet produced seeds. In this case, our action with volunteers focus on cutting the inflorescence to prevent future seed dispersal. These types of initiatives are aimed at social organizations that work with people with disabilities, and also with companies that provide corporate volunteering, and sometimes with the general public. Many of our volunteer programs involve people with disabilities, and I want to highlight something important. With the right training, they are just as effective as anyone else. One thing that sets them apart is their admirable motivation and commitment. A good example of this can be found in our forestry teams, which are made up entirely of people with disabilities who are working to eradicate pampas grass. This adds an extra value, that of social inclusion, to our environmental project. Their work proves that inclusion is both possible and necessary, and their example becomes a powerful tool for the social integration of groups at risk of exclusion. We also carry out volunteer activities focused on detection of isolated Cortaderia plants. The seeds of pampa grass can fly many kilometers, and this is why they appear in the most unexpected places or where they are difficult to find. We cannot search every field and every mountain to find these isolated plants, but there are many people who do so on a daily basis: nature guides, fire crews, hikers, and they become our eyes on the ground. We have a citizen science platform where anyone can register and locate these isolated plants using geolocation. We organize volunteers' days to learn how to use it and to search for isolated specimens, and we schedule these activities on specific days, such as World Biodiversity Day. The most interesting aspect of these activities is that participants continue to collaborate when they are venture out into nature. Thanks to them, we can detect solitary specimens or small clusters before they become a major problem. And this is the last example. Every year, we co-organize the Invasive Species Week in Spain and Portugal. This event highlights the importance of citizen cooperation in tackling one of the greatest threats to biodiversity, biological invasions. During this week, all kinds of voluntary activities are carried out, including prevention, detection, eradication, information campaigns, as well as direct actions for invasive species in both countries. This year's edition showed an impressive level of participation, 387 activities organized by 255 entities with more than 7,800 people directly involved. And we break records every year. The number of activities, collaborating entities, and participants is growing year on year. To conclude, I would like to emphasize that our volunteer program is not just a set of activities, but a movement for social and ecological change. By removing the invasive plant Cortaderia sejoana and restoring species degraded by its presence, we are protecting the environment and building community awareness for a better future. We are not where we are simply to take care for nature. We are here to build a future with it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Very good. Very good.